Like he said, my daughters and my wife would much rather see me die on my horse than fall down. The moment that we show you are weak, so a lot of times it's thrown back in our face. And it may not be in that moment. You may be comforting in that moment. You may be like, no, babe, I got you. But the moment we get into something, oh, you're going to tell me about when I was weak. Oh, that's why you did this. Oh, that's why you did that. And now my vulnerability is now stripped away from me.
What up? What up? We back. It's Freewenow.
Till it is backwards.
And now we free. Listen, Linda. Let me tell you something.
Very much something.
Let me tell you something. Very much something. Look, I'm all jacked up off of Mountain Dew today. You feel me? So it's going to be one of the ones today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be going through reaction videos again today and telling you guys our raw reaction to it. No prep, no planning. You know what I'm saying? Freestyling. We in the booth. We
Off
big
the
ticket in the
dome.
basement. You know what I'm saying? And why are we talking about freestyles? Nobody freestyles anymore.
No, everything
is pre-written. It's already rehearsed, and they go into the studio and then they rap what they've already rehearsed.
Yeah.
Well, can we bring back real freestyles?
Where you start pointing around the room and say, rap about that.
Rap about that.
Rap about that.
Somebody
rap
came in
about
the
that.
room. Your hat looked funny. You look like a bunny, but it's sunny, dummy.
That was a freestyle.
You feel
that
me?
was a freestyle.
Like anyway. Nothing's genuine. Nothing's provocative. It doesn't get the people going. All right. So what you got for the people, Keith?
All right. The greatest friendships in the world are not made through hardship. They're made through routine. It shouldn't take somebody at their lowest asking you for something for you to be a true friend. Learn how to check in with them even when they need nothing from you.
That's real. We in the school zone. I gotta drive slow. Yes, sir, ski. So let's get into these videos, man. Let's see it.
First video of the day.
I seen this question that said, how will you feel if God does take it away?
Then you gotta let it go,
And not go back to it, right?
because there's nothing that God allows to leave your life, to walk out of your life, or to be taken from your life
To come back with the same purpose.
that He doesn't intend to bless you with 2 times fold. And to change your perspective on losing something, if I lose the thing that I thought was the absolute world to me, the best thing that I could ever have, and God takes it away, that means that what I thought was the best, God has even better.
Always take me back to this quote. If you truly believe who God says He is, He can get you out of anything you get yourself into. He has not got you out this current situation. There's great power in this current situation. May the church say amen.
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 So tell me how you feel about what they just said.
I think that's deep because a lot of times we can start idolizing what we have. We can become people that are just so hard to let go because it's what we're used to, is what we're comfortable with, right? It's all we can see. A lot of times we based off, everything that we want to do or love or really feel is the best ever is based off what we see. And a lot of times it takes constant evaluation of what we're looking at to see if is this God's best for us. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't know, but you have to trust God enough to know that He's only going to provide you with the best. So if someone or something or some job or some career or some new opportunity or whatever you thought was going to change your life and it doesn't happen the way you thought it was supposed to, or it leaves and it's not there anymore, trust God to know that He will provide for you. You know what I mean? So, and I deal with that a lot, knowing that I can't put so much weight on this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I put my weight on God, not on the thing.
That's huge. One thing that I've always tried to remind myself is God has an answer for all of my questions. It just may not be the answer that I want. And a lot of times when you put so much effort in something, you feel like it belongs so much to you.
Yeah.
You almost in a sense claim it before you actually achieve it, whether it's an individual, a woman, man for women, or if it's a career, or if it's literally maybe something simple. You in your mind, you imagine it so much and you go over all the details of it that it's almost so real that you have to obtain it. And then when it is taken from you, it's very hard to kind of rationalize why you didn't deserve to get it, or you start questioning, am I not good enough to get it? God, why am I not obtaining this thing that I've worked 20 and 30 years for, and now it's being taken away from me? Why did you allow me to put so much work and effort into this thing and then to take it away from me at this point? But we fail to realize that there's lessons in everything that God does. So the reason that he does things is so that you can learn or be better for a situation he's about to present you with. And we're so focused on not obtaining what we thought was meant for us that we are blinded to what God really has in store. As we always said, we're in this life, we're put with a gift and a purpose. And yes, we may stray away from that gift and purpose. Maybe we don't realize it the way we had to. So God says, all right, since you couldn't learn the way that I freely allowed you to, I'm going to put you in a situation that force grows you, that force learns you. So, hey, I got to strip you of this so that you can look at yourself and what I have for you in a different light. But it's still very hard as a human to swallow that something that you worked all your life for isn't really meant for you.
Yeah, bro. I think what we're saying is that you can't put your identity in your current situation.
Yeah.
You have to put your identity in God. So it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter who comes in your life and who leaves your life, or what you lose or what you gain, because your identity is not based on that. When we start basing our identity off of basketball, when I start basing my identity off of my career or my spouse, or even some people have basing their identity off of their kids. And so they putting so much pressure on their kids because you got to be what I want you to be so you can be what I think of myself. You know what I mean? So put your identity in God and not your situation and circumstances.
Which is another huge point, is I'm a big advocate for believing in yourself. But I don't think you should believe in yourself solely because of who you are, but you believe in yourself because you have a part of God in you.
For sure.
So God gave you one of the many talents or gifts that he wanted to give to this world. So that's what you should believe in. You should believe in the purpose that God has given you this gift, right? Not just because I'm the greatest person in the world, like I should believe in myself. No, believe in yourself because you are God's people. He made us in his likeness, right?
For
us.
sure.
It's a community. It's a team. You have worth, right? So start believing in what God has for you. And when these trials and tribulations come, you're going to start to change your mindset instead of why me, until thank you, God, for even giving me this challenge.
I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men. And I said, I don't study men. And he said, that's convenient. And I said, why? And he said, because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters? I said, yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down. When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else. So I started interviewing men and asking questions. And what I learned is this. You show me a woman who can actually sit with a man in real vulnerability and fear, I'll show you a woman who's done incredible work.
Talk to me, Haas. Talk to me, Haas. Talk to me, Haas. Give me the skinny on that one.
Hey, first off, a lot of times men get left out, right? So they say, hey, men, be vulnerable. Hey, we want you to do this. We want you to do that. But what is actually happening though? What are we seeing in reality? Everything, if you type in Google, there are a plethora of outlets for women to further their growth, whether it be professionally, mental health wise, career wise, grants, right? If you look at the same opportunities on the flip side for men, you got to really dig to find those. But for women, there's a ton of grants, there's a ton of help, there's a ton of opportunities just by typing in Google, right? I feel like that's a microcosm of what she's saying. We talk about, people make books, people do think tanks. They give a lot of research, right? And a lot of help surrounding women and children. But then the men, there's nothing specific for us to feel like we're being seen, to feel like we're being heard. And at one point I thought it was just black men, but I'm not racist because I got white friends too. But
Yeah.
my white friends, my Hispanic friends, they all feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that is cultureless. This is regionless, even countryless. I think this is something, a weight that we feel because, like she mentioned, people that care, the people that are relying on us will rather us be that hero that dies as opposed to that human that's vulnerable.
Yeah. So I'm talking, when I say this, I'm talking in the generalized point, right? Because I understand, like she said, if you find a woman that is allowing a man to be vulnerable, I can show you a woman that's put in a lot of work and time, right? So we understand there are outliers, but the general consensus, and this is coming from a man, so honestly, take what I'm saying as fact, right? I've talked to other men. My best friends are men, right? So I understand it from different point views. So don't sit here and be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm a girl. No. Listen to what I'm saying and actually understand. As a man, it seems like we are always in competition for our position. Like he said, my daughters and my wife would much rather see me die on my horse than fall down. The moment that we show you are weak, so a lot of times it's thrown back in our face. And it may not be in that moment. You may be comforting in that moment. You may be like, no, babe, I got you. But the moment we get into something, oh, you're going to tell me about when I was weak. Oh, that's why you did this. Oh, that's why you did that. And now my vulnerability is now stripped away from me. Now I have to be this hardened individual who no longer gets the option to break down, who no longer gets the option to feel the weight on my shoulder. I'm not saying that I'm giving up, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to trip. I'm going to have a misstep. There are going to be times where I can't handle all the things that are going on in my life, right? But women have to understand y'all are so important because at those moments, we come to y'all. We want to take that time to show the woman that we've chose out of every woman in this world because we choose y'all. We come up and we talk to y'all. We pick y'all out of everybody. We choose y'all. The woman that we've trusted so much, we want to show her that side, and we want that comfortability to be able to express that and not get a turned up attitude of, oh, you not being a man, or you can't handle this, or I need a man who can do this, right? Because I promise you right now, yeah, you may throw me to the side or the dude that you're dealing with to the side, but there's going to be a point where this new guy who seems like God's gift to earth and the most perfect individual is going to break too. And you're going to realize that you wasted all that time because you couldn't look inside of yourself and see the true aspect of care that a man has for you when he shows you his vulnerability.
Absolutely, bro. That last sentence that she said, you show me a woman that allows her man to be vulnerable. You've also shown me a woman that has done the work.
Yeah.
So what that statement means to me is that women are judged off of intangibles. Mm-hmm. Men are judged off tangibles. Our worth can be measured, providing and protecting. Mm-hmm. How well you're able to provide and protect can be measured.
Yeah.
Like there are metric, there's your career, right? Your salary has a number to it. Like your stature, your size as a man, how strong you are, right? How well you are, how knowledgeable you are about weapons and defense and self-defense, and that can be measured. I can see that, right? Like I can see you working out and being strong. I can see you beat somebody up, right? Or just be protective and show self-defense, right? I can see your bank accounts, right? I can everything. I'm gonna say everything, but most things that society judges a man off of is measurable, as opposed to for a woman, a lot of times it's intangibles. It's the nurturing environment, right? It's a home. It's being able to multiply. It's this, turning that house to a home, right? Right. So a lot of times theirs isn't necessarily metric based.
Yeah.
You can't put a number to it, right? So therefore, when we're not matching up to the numbers, a lot of times we get disqualified as being men, right? Mm-hmm. On the flip side, we can't really measure that for women, right? So what she's saying is, if you allow your man to, when the numbers aren't matching up, right? If he's not able to provide and protect metrically the way you would want him to, right? and you allow him to do that, or he is doing that, but he has a moment where he's not able to be Superman, right? You have to do a lot of internal work as a woman to be able to provide that environment to where he feels safe to come to you when the numbers aren't matching up. When society, by their metrics, he's not a man.
Yeah.
So for you to be able to build him back up and help him deal with that based off of metrics when he's not adding up, it takes a lot of self-work to even be selfless to do that.
Yeah, it is. Extreme ownership of your portion of the pie.
Facts.
If we got to protect and provide, then y'all got to nurture.
Facts.
And that means even when we ain't doing our protecting and providing. I'm not saying that's the space that the man is supposed to stay in, but the moment that he can't do that or he's unable to do that, you need to nurture him back to that sense.
Absolutely.
Nurture him back to that sense.
What's the saying? If a woman likes you enough, you don't have to lie to her. She'll lie to herself.
She'll lie to herself.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
that's
Really?
That's ugly.
It's the realest shit in the world. What's the saying? If a woman likes you enough, you don't have to lie to her. She'll lie to herself.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's real.
That's the truth.
That's the God honest truth.
I'm gonna give y'all a little. I'm gonna give y'all a little insight.
Truth.
I've done a lot of work on myself. God's still working on me.
He ain't done with me yet.
But some of the best women in my life, I have treated the worst. Some of the best women in my life, I have treated the worst.
Okay.
And it's because they've allowed me to, and it's because they wanted me to be somebody that I was clearly showing them that I wasn't. So it wasn't like I was telling them, hey, I'm this great guy. I was being the bad dude. I was being the dude that wanted to do whatever he wanted to. I was being the guy that was being inconsiderate.
You was a villain, bro.
Right? I was being a villain. I was being a villain, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has the origin story. A girl broke my heart. I was being a villain. This was my villain days, right?
Yeah.
I was acting up and I was out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been in that situation, but the women, they made it so easy because even when I told them my truth, they made their own. Even when I told them my truth, they made their own.
Yeah.
Like some of the conversations I've had after the fact of, hey, I told you this. I've showed you this is how the way that I moved. And they're like, no, that's not it. I'm like, are you crazy? Do you not understand what's really going on? Do you not see my truth? Like I'm showing it, I'm acting it. This is exactly who I'm being in this moment. Do you not get it? So when he says that when a woman really likes to you, she'll lie to herself. Like this is how we understand that women really, you know what I'm saying, when a girl really likes you, you don't have to do any of the extra stuff. You don't got to blow up her phone. You don't got to ask her multiple times for dates. You don't got to go out and buy her stuff. You don't got to do any of this. She will do all that stuff for herself. You could literally be like, hey, pull up to the crib. She's coming over. But the next guy who's like, hey, I'm about to take you on this trip. I want to do this. I want to do that. She's like, yeah, maybe I'll have some time. If a girl that you're trying to deal with is constantly trying to find time to deal with you, she don't like you. I'm telling you right now, girls that truly like you will do anything in this world.
They stand
will literally
drop.
go to the ends of this earth,
right,
to make sure that they are noticed by you.
Right.
So understand this. You ain't got to tell them the truth because they going to lie for themselves.
Hey, fellas, don't go for the girl that you like. Go for the girl that likes you.
Ooh, she going to do everything.
Don't go for the girl that you like. Go for the girl that likes you. Right? Because in reality, women, they just like who they have their standards. They have their, idiosyncrasies and the things that they just like about men, as they should. Right? So you trying to do something or spend money or, be somebody that you're not, or thinking that you can buy them is not going to make them like you more. Mm-hmm. You're just going to get used. Right? So go for the girl that likes you. And that's going to be genuine.
Yeah.
Okay? That's for the fellas. For the ladies, right? This is for the ladies. Don't try to go for the man that has potential. A lot of times women's hearts get broken over men with potential. Because at this point, potential doesn't mean nothing. Okay? At first, cool. They can be this, they can be that. You nurture them, you try to multiply it. At the end of the day, a man is going to do what he wants to do. Yeah. So until he makes up in his mind that he wants to become more, it doesn't matter what you say to him. It doesn't matter what opportunities you set him up with. It doesn't matter how much you yell and scream at him. It won't change anything because men are going to do what men want to do.
They are at the end of the day.
So don't get your heart broken off of a man because you say he has potential and he can be so much more. No. You have to be okay with, and men too with the women, you have to be okay with if this person never changed, if they were the same person and we got married from the same person that they were right now for the rest of their life, would I be okay? Would I be able to live with that?
Yeah.
Don't get with nobody off of potential and you trying to make them into something that they're not. Fellas, don't do that for the ladies, and ladies, don't do that for the fellas.
Hey man, just like this statement is true for women, they'll lie to themselves for the man that they like. Men, you don't gotta ask a man that really like you to do anything.
That too.
It's gonna be part of his regular routine.
That too.
He cares and want to be with you so much. That's just gonna pour out of it. So you don't have to ask for the flowers. And maybe there's some things that he's not used to giving you. Let me start there, right? Maybe there's some things he's not used to giving. But if you mention it to him, it's going to be immediately implemented into his daily or yearly or weekly schedule, whatever you're requiring out of that. So understand that. And I'm glad you cleared it up, because I almost did not agree with what you about to say. You was like, don't go for the man with potential. Don't go for the man who only will ever have potential.
Right.
So yes, you have to be able to and willing to build your man up.
Right.
You have to be willing to nurture his gift and his purpose, and in God's words, be a helpmeet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Help him to that goal, right? But I'm telling you right now, if you're giving him all the help that he needs and he's still in the same position of potential, he's never going to be anything. I'm sorry. He's worthless.
Let him go.
He's not trying to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Stop watering dead plants.
Yeah, stop watering dead plants, yo. All right, and stop lying to yourself, baby. You worth more. You too valuable.
Facts.
Do y'all go to church regularly?
No. Not regularly, no.
Thank you. Why aren't they there? Because y'all not going to church.
Well, I know why. I know why though. So
yeah.
Why don't you go to church?
It's more of therapy rather than instruction for how to get things accomplished.
Oh.
So it doesn't really resonate with me, to be honest with you.
I would have to agree.
Yeah, we had Nur Muhammad come and he said it the best. He said, church in the Christian community is more about coping with life rather than conquering life. So
I think it depends on the church.
I think it depends on the church.
You gotta show it. I've been to a lot of churches.
But I think some of my observation too is that church is actually geared towards women because women are emotional.
One of the big things he said is a lot of churches is more geared towards coping with life than conquering it. Coping with life than conquering. You ever went through something and the person that you decided to confide in or tell them about the situation you're going through, they have every answer for what you should have did in the situation? Bro, you should have did this. You shouldn't have did that, dog. I'm telling you right now, if you would have did this, you wouldn't have been in this situation. This is how I would have handled it. They're telling you how to cope with the situation. But when you asked them for advice before, they were nowhere to be found. I don't know, kind of do whatever you want, bro. Whatever you want will be the good thing to do. But the moment you messed up, they wanted to backfill you on how you could have prevented the situation, right? In life, you want to learn from other people's mistakes, and you don't want to have to go through every situation. Yes, there are things you have to go through in life to grow and to prosper and to be better, right? But the things that you don't have to, you do not want to experience. I know the stove's hot. I don't want to have to touch it myself. I want somebody to tell me, right? They're teaching me how to conquer, not learning that lesson, right? I've now conquered the fact that if I touch this stove, that it's hot. I didn't ask people, hey man, what happens if you touch this stove? And they were like, I don't know, touch it. And I touch them like, yo, dang, I just burnt my finger. And they're like, well, it's hot. Thanks. Thanks, stupid.
Right.
I could have learned that earlier.
Right. Did you get your hand burnt?
No. I listened to that. That was just an analogy, an example. Right?
Okay. No, for sure. I think what she mentioned, I agree with. Men are problem solvers by nature. We are solution based. So when we go in environments that are not solution based and are not problem focused, problem solving focus, we get turned off. And I think I'll just say black churches teach off of emotion. They teach messages that aren't necessarily solving your problems or aren't focused on the solutions. They want to evoke an emotion. Yeah. They want somebody to run around the church and say hallelujah. Yeah. Right. They want somebody to say, "Oh my gosh, I'm moved. I'm so emotional about this. Hallelujah. You better preach, pastor." When in reality, they don't have anything that they can take outside of the church and use it and execute it immediately. Yeah. The misnomer that I realized with church and the current situation that we are in with church is that people don't use church what it's for. Churches should be a recharging station. It should be a recharging station for you to go and get knowledge, get information, and get a tool and package and instructions to go out into the world and change the world.
Yeah.
A lot of times we trying to change church from within church.
Yeah.
Like when people don't realize Jesus was in the street. Jesus was in the field. You feel me? Jesus was outside. You know what I'm saying? Every time you saw him, he was feeding people outside, spiritually and physically. You know what I'm saying? With the fish and the loaves of bread. He was outside. Every story, he was out, touched the hem of his garment. They didn't say he was in the pews. You know what I'm saying? He walking through the crowds and people getting healed.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like church has to become more focused on giving people instructions through the Bible to help save lives outside in the streets, and not just us. It's cool, it's great to go in church and have a good time and you feel some emotion. There's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, give me something that I can take immediately out into the street and help change the world.
And a lot of times I think a good amount of churches are contradictory to what the Bible's message is. It is it is a sequence of instructions on how to get to God's kingdom and how you should operate in it.
Facts.
It's not meant to be make the mistake and then I'll teach you about the lesson. It is,
right.
Hey, I'm showing you all the mistakes that were made for you. I'm showing you how you're supposed to operate, right? So we need to start, the teachings need to transition from let me save you from your problems to let me help you avoid even having any of those problems.
In the first place. And that's the difference, right? Between a father and a mother.
Yeah.
A father would, you say, well, I bumped my head and I did this, blah, blah, blah. And your mom's talking about, oh no, let me put a Band-Aid or let me heal you, put some Neosporin, let me do it. Your pops is gonna be like, why did that even happen in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, why were you even in that situation? Mm-hmm. Like, I understand you got hurt and we gonna fix that too, but like, why do you keep putting yourself in a situation? Yeah. So I feel like that's the difference between men and women as well, is that they're coping. So coping a lot of times is reactive.
Yeah.
It's reactive, right? Conquering is proactive. So a lot of men, we try to be proactive and solution based. We don't even want that problem to come up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we will say stuff to our spouse or our partners like, don't wear that, because we don't even want the problem to come up.
Yeah.
Don't go there. We don't even want the problem to come up.
Yeah.
Right? You tell, well, why you don't want me to wear this? Or why you don't want me to go here? Or why can't you say what they say this? Or why can I pop off and blah, blah. It's because we know that we are solution based and problem solvers. Yeah. So don't even put yourself or me or our family in that situation to begin with.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true with church. Let's, like you said, bro, let's use this so we not even, why are we broke? Oh, well, let's read this and we can give you a verse and you're going to feel better. No, if you read the Bible like it's supposed to, we ain't even supposed to be broke in the first place.
Yeah.
Why is that even a topic?
Yeah. And I really want y'all to understand, especially in the Black community, we've been consistently living in a method of reaction for the last 500-600 years. That this is all what we're doing right now is all reaction to the situation that we were given. We didn't do we're not doing any real proactive work to prevent the situation, right? We're not trying to figure out, well, how do we build schools to teach Black children about the financial wealth gap? But what we're trying to do is tell somebody who's already been broke their entire life how they come out of being broke. Well, let's not put them in that situation. Let's educate them prior to making all the mistakes, so that the mistakes that they're making are new ones that we have to accomplish or we have to overcome, not the same old ones that we've been making this whole time. Let's get out of the reactive measures and be proactive about everything that we got in life, because I'm telling you right now, things and problems don't get better with time. They only get worse.
What they say is easier to build strong kids than it is to repair broken men.
Yeah. Telling you, stuck in their ways.
How did we go from fighting a revolution over a 2% tax on a breakfast beverage to what we pay today? And we're taxed on money when we receive it, when we spend it, when we keep it, when we invest it, and even when we die with it. It gets worse. We commute to work to make that money in a car that is taxed again to register on roads we're already taxed to build, fueled by gas that is taxed even further, and many times through tolls that tax you again. And that's to maintain bridges and highways and tunnels that already have billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, allocated to them, and they're still falling apart. And then when you get to your office that is taxed to exist, in a corporation that is also taxed to do business, that almost certainly requires permits and other things, which are another tax, you are paid a paycheck that the corporation must match another payroll tax on top of what they have to pay you.
Man, I get fired up about taxes, bro. We literally, the country was built off of them getting away from England because of taxes. They were overtaxed. They were tired of being taxed. They come over here. They ever heard of the Boston Tea Party? It's because they threw the tea out in the sea because they're like, listen, y'all not about to tax us off this. So we finna throw it all out because we finna stand on our one. We finna stand 10 toes down. Y'all not taxing us.
Yeah.
Now you look up today, you getting taxed on every way.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. They sending you to prison for over taxes. And our country, our nation was founded off of an agreed just dislike, dang near hate for taxes.
Yeah.
That was sparked the whole revolution for them to leave based off of taxes. And now we getting taxed every way. I don't see how we are now in a state where taxes, the IRS, people going to prison, right? You can get fined over taxes, yo. We talking about taxes.
We talking about tax, not even the game. We
Not
talking
the
about
game.
taxes.
We talking about taxes, yo. I don't understand.
It's just it just sucks that taxes rear their head in every single thing that you do. Like he said, you get your paycheck, it's taxed. You go to the restaurant to eat food, that's taxed. And then they want to add the tip. Don't even get me started on all the crazy tipping culture that we got, but that's taxed. Then, I got to drive home on these roads that I'm taxed for to pay for. Like, it is, let me take more and more money out of what you work for every day. Like, you put in hours and hours and months and years of work to get to a certain standpoint, and the more you make, the worse your taxes are.
Yeah.
So it's not even a real reward for being an outlier. I'm not getting rewarded for putting in all this hard work and obtaining such a great height, but you're going to reward the people that didn't even consider to do more. Like,
that's crazy.
It's like in a mindset of lack, like, hey, if I stay in this lack, well, I'm going to get less taxes, so I don't have to worry about it. But if you do more and you provide more to the community, you provide more to this world, my taxes and everything that I'm giving is going to be made up off of your back.
Yeah, bro, that's insane. And you literally hit the nail on the head. We're getting taxed off of being great.
Yeah.
Like, you are trying to dumb the mindset of a person to want to be more than their environment because you're going to take more from me.
Yeah.
So you mean the more I become, the better I am in life, the more merit I have as a person and to society. Okay, so if I'm providing housing, if I'm providing a service through my business, if I'm helping the people, you telling me I'm gonna get more, I'm getting more taxed? Mm-hmm. The better I become as a doctor, if I'm a surgeon, or if I'm a lawyer, if I'm the best in my craft, right? But I'm still on salary, right? And the higher I climb, the more you take away.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
How does that relate to each other? That reminds me of that J. Cole song where he was like, yeah, Uncle Sam, I got you. You know I got you when I get my check.
Yeah.
Wait, how much I owe you? Half. You can so half my like,
no, facts,
bro. I put in
facts.
all this work and you're gonna take half of my money. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, come on, man. We something's got to give, something's got to change, and unfortunately, when things like that happen, it causes a revolution.
Yeah,
like people only respect money and violence.
Yeah.
So either some people gonna start turning up in the streets, or you're gonna have to figure out the money situation, right? If you look globally, there have been revolutions in the past couple years over in Europe, right? Because of people feeling like the government has stolen their money. If you don't realize this, in the next less than a decade, Social Security fund is gonna be running out. For real. Like all of these funds that people put their money in, pension money's running out. So it begs the question, it makes you feel like you can't trust the government.
Yeah.
If you're losing our money and this taxpayer dollars that we're paying and you're not handling it well, why should we trust you? Why should we keep you in the position that you're in? Right? And a lot of times people don't realize inflation comes from the government trying to bail out banks. So a good book that you should read, and I'm still reading it right now because it's very dense, is The Creature of Jekyll Island. And it goes into how the Federal Reserve was created and how it was basically a gang, bro. It was a mafia. They have mafia-like rules to prevent any local banks. Back in the day, right? This was in 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. But local banks before that we're coming up, sparking up. So me and you, bro, could create a local bank, and we can start getting money, and we can put out the First National Bank. We can put them out because everybody start rocking with us. We start growing and populating. Now we're becoming bigger than the banks that the government put in place. They said, whoa, time out. We got to do the Federal Reserve. So now they put the Federal Reserve in place, bro, to basically create a monopoly with 6 or 7 banks, bro. So now they can now control the market. You feel me? So now when inflation comes, everybody's like, why is there so much inflation? It's because when banks default on loans, right? So let's say I give you money, right? And you don't pay me back. But imagine I'm a bank and I'm doing that to a bunch of people. And my criteria for giving you this loan is a faulty criteria. It's not set in stone. It's not solid. It doesn't have a great foundation. Anybody, Joe Schmo, can come get a loan, right? So if anybody can come get a loan and they're not paying us back, I'm defaulting on that as a bank, right? So now all of this money, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, right? These houses, that mortgages that people are loaning out, who's going to pay that money back? If they can't pay the bank, well, eventually the government, the Federal Reserve is supposed to get approval from Congress, but they just start circumventing the Congress. But they're like, hey, we'll give you guys more money, right? Because we're just going to print it. So we'll just print more money and help you cover your debts. But that money still hasn't been paid out. So what do? They put loans on top of loans and put that money back out there. So now when we shelling more money out, right? If you got $100, Hendo got $100, I got $100, they got $100, everybody got $100. $100 is not as worth as much as it used to be. Yeah. So now they got to drive the prices up because everybody has $100. Now, if you only had $1, I got $1, Hendo got 100, she may have 5, she may have 10. That $100 weighs more. Yeah. So now that the bank is pushing out more money, right? Because the Fed is trying to help the banks by giving out more money to the people so they can pay them back, right? It just creates this cycle, creating the inflation over time to keep going up. So if you didn't know, inflation really is coming from large banks defaulting on loans, right? And not paying that money back. So inflation is not some random things. It's not just randomly happening, because in reality, with technology, things should get cheaper because it's more convenient. If I don't have to hand make a shirt, I can just make it with this press. It should be cheaper. You feel me? The cost shouldn't go up. Anyway, that was a rant to talk about inflation. Just shows you how screwed up the economy is, how screwed up society and the way we do things is right now.
Yeah, honestly, I don't got much to say on that.
Yeah.
At that point, if you the bank, you can play the under or the over. You still gonna win.
Right. That's why the bank controlled. They had the power, bro. Yeah. That's why everybody's right now waiting on the Federal Reserve. What are they gonna say about inflation? Are they gonna raise the rates? Or are they gonna lower the rates? Bro, the Federal Reserve, they got power, bro. You know what I mean? They are controlling the economy, right? And they try to gloss it over and say, oh, well, our job is to keep unemployment low. And it's like, no, the real job is they trying to help them banks out. So when they started, and that's what was happening in 2007 and 2008, bro, everybody was getting loans, right? You can get a house and you don't have any credible job to back it up, no source of income. And then people start defaulting on them, right? And so now the banks go down and it just created this, domino effect. Yeah. You feel me? So anyway, that was a rant. That was a mouthful. Pause. Run that back if you know what I'm saying, you really want to get an insight on what inflation is and how I just don't rock with taxes. You feel me? And bro, it's also interesting. I'm conflicted, bro. The more I know, the more I kind of fall in line with a conservative. And so as a black person, I'm conflicted, bro. Because I'm like, I love my people. I want things for my community. At the same time, I'm like, I see the system and I'm like, I don't agree with that. So based off of my analysis of what's going on, my ideals, you can say, are a little conservative. But like my heart is with the people. And so now I'm like, I don't know what to do. And with the election coming up, this is just I don't know what to do because I have conservative ideals, right? Money wise, economy wise, even just spiritual wise. And then at the same time, I'm like, but I don't want my people starving. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the more I know, the more I try to grow, the more financially literate I become, the more I sound like some white man from Texas. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Shout out Texas.
right. Not too much. But you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, I want my people to eat. I don't want them to be on welfare. I want them to have access to the same opportunities and have an equitable life. Yeah. I don't know, man.
That just opens up the real conversation into bringing black people into the community.
Yeah.
And making sure that we start owning our own things, our own clothing lines, our own banks, our own infrastructure, building our own cities, something that we have actual control over so that the power is not divvied up one-sided. But, you know what I'm saying, that's a topic for another time.
Right. And to that, when you talk about own banks, when black people did have their own banks, their own economy, what did they do? They bombed them. The first bombs on U.S. soil, bro, was the government bombing black people. We never had no war on U.S. soil. Ain't nobody ever tried us. Ain't nobody ever put bombs on our soil. Now, if you mean to tell me the first time bombs, you gonna bomb your own people? And we supposed to be like, yeah, we trust the government? How you expect me to feel, bro? When the first time you put bombs on U.S. soil was to bomb our communities because we didn't need y'all, we was having our own infrastructure? Now, we can talk later about integration, the difference between integration and segregation, and like my thoughts on where that has led us to right now. But that's too deep for right now.
Topic for another time.
Topic for another time. So, okay, so we talked about a lot, man. What are some takeaways that you can get to people from this?
Women allow your man to be vulnerable. Taxes is crazy.
Crazy
work.
Crazy, nasty work.
Stop lying to yourself about the guy with a lifetime of potential and no lifetime of growth. And dudes, get the girl that like you because she gonna do everything you want her to do.
Go for the girl that like you, man, not the girl that you like. Hey, man, this was great. I love these reaction videos. I think a lot of people are tapping in with the reaction videos and they like that as well because it's still relevant. It's still, you know, in tune with what's going on right now in the world and giving our insight on that. So yeah, man, this was great. This was dope. We had a great day. We had a great pod, and put the work in, keep showing up for yourself and go after your dreams. It's Freewenow.
Till it's backwards.
Yes, sir, Ski.